Welcome to the Redeemer Podcast. I'm your host, Zach, and today we're talking about being a mature student at Redeemer University. I'm joined by the leader of the Mature Student Club, Emily. So excited to have her on the show. Her insight is fantastic into the student experience of what it's like, and we have a great discussion. I hope you are blessed by it. If it is your first time here, make sure to like and subscribe, share with a friend, and check out some of our other episodes that explore various aspects of Redeemer, Christian education, and so much more. Thank you for making us part of your day. And with that, here we go. And we are back with another episode of the Redeemer Podcast. Today's episode is a topic that I'm specifically excited about. I can't believe I have not covered this topic in my 2 years of doing this podcast. We are talking about mature students at Redeemer. And so these are students who they're not coming right out of high school. They're maybe into their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, beyond. And we're going to talk about that experience at Redeemer University. And who better to help me out with this episode than the leader of the Mature Student Club at Redeemer University, Emily Fiduziak. Emily, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you so much.
Yeah. So, Emily, let's dive right in here. I'll just let our listeners and our viewers know. I was Emily's admissions counselor, and so it's cool to see you come to Redeemer. And I remember us having conversations about what it's like to be a mature student at Redeemer. You're currently one. When I was at Redeemer from 2016 to 2020, I was a mature student, and I'm excited to dive into the human experience, the academic experience of being a mature student at Redeemer University. So let's maybe start there. How did you hear about Redeemer University, and what made you want to study at Redeemer, as a mature student?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I actually didn't know about the school until probably, I want to say like a year or two before I started. So, I started in the fall of 2023, and I don't think I knew about the school until late 2021 or 2022, something like that. Um, and what made me want to go is that I started when I was younger at a public university in BC because that's where I'm from originally. Um, and I loved that experience at the school, at the public school. I don't regret it, but there's a part of me that had kind of always wanted to go to a Christian school.
Yeah.
And that was always in the back of my mind. And I kind of felt like I missed that experience the more years that went by with me being a student at the public school. And I got my associate's degree, or pretty much the equivalent of that, in psychology at the public school. But I really wanted to study social work, and I wanted to study it at a Christian school. And that was something that's really hard to find in Canada.
Yeah.
From research, it's a bit more common in the States to offer social work at a Christian school, but in Canada, that's really rare. So I was just doing research online, and then one day I came across Redeemer, and it wasn't like the only school that I applied to, but it was one that really piqued my interest. And ultimately, it's what I chose. And we can get more into that. But that's kind of just how I first heard about it and what made me want to choose it.
That's awesome. Okay, so you started in 2023,
Yeah.
and I appreciate you sharing. You had other experiences that before coming to Redeemer, and I think a lot of mature students are in that camp. Some don't necessarily have a post-secondary
Mhm.
school experience, but yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I guess what was you know I guess so you decided to come to Redeemer.
Yeah.
You get accepted, go through the application process, everything like that. What was your mindset coming into Redeemer as a mature student?
Really nervous about it,
Yeah.
honestly, originally, like before I spoke to anyone, before I spoke to you. I think I had this misconception in my mind that like going to a small private Christian school, and in my case, flying across most of the country to do it, I felt like that was something you do when you're 18 or you're 20. I was 28 when I started, and I was like, I'm too old for this. Like, I'm going to stick out in this little Christian school full of 18-year olds, 19-year olds. Like I didn't really feel like there was a place for me there. But then again, I hadn't given the school a chance yet, right? Like
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone that had gone there, hadn't spoken to anyone. I was kind of, these were kind of just things that I was coming up with myself,
Yeah.
and assuming for myself. And then honestly, it was a conversation I had with you when I was in the application process that really encouraged me. It was it was a very simple thing, but essentially you just shared with me that I believe you were 26 when
Yeah.
when you started at Redeemer.
Yeah. I
Um,
was 26. Yeah.
yeah, and hearing that, and me being 28 at the time, I was like, okay, well, this is at least one other mature student that started at the school when they were quote unquote older, and that encouraged me to, yeah, honestly, to feel more brave.
Right. So I really appreciate you sharing that. I'll just share. I myself, when I started at Redeemer, I went into it with a similar, nervousness or mindset, but I also had this like kind of jadedness to me of like, I'm older. I'm in a different phase of life. I'm gonna go in. I'm here to get my schooling done. I am all business, like that. And that's important. I don't want to belittle
Yeah.
that. But what I didn't realize is how blessed I would be by the Redeemer community, by the professors, by going to a smaller school, by studying from a Christian worldview,
Yeah.
and I just found that added so much to my experience, even though I was a little bit older than my peers at Redeemer.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I can really relate to that. And I think in some ways I can also relate to the jadedness because, honestly, I was kind of sick of being in university by that point. Like you said, a lot of the mature students that come may have not had a previous, post secondary education yet, and that's awesome that they're starting for the first time at Redeemer. But for me, I was kind of, in a way, like a bit of a university veteran,
Yeah,
um, because I started my university education for the first time in 2016. And then originally I was full time at that school, and then I kind of went part time. So I was working and I was part time for several years. And I kind of just wanted to finish my degree also.
yeah,
Um, but like I said, I wanted to go to a Christian school and do social work. So I felt led to go to Redeemer. Um, and originally, when I arrived at Redeemer, I was I was still nervous about it, and I was like, I don't know if this is the place for me. Like, it's such a small school. My previous school was probably a medium to large size school. It had about 12,000 students at it, and I was like, Redeemer is so small, and I don't know how I feel about this. This is also just so different from any of the universities in British Columbia that I'd been to. Um, And it really wasn't until I gave it a chance and I was there for almost a full semester that I was like, wow, I'm at home.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like, I feel so welcomed and embraced, as a mature student. And, from my first year onwards, I lived on campus, and I feel like I was fortunate because I got matched with a dorm of girls that were all mature students.
mm,
All of us were 25 or older, some of the girls were 30. Um, and like, yeah, I just felt really at home, and it was a really beautiful, um, experience. And eventually I learned, like, it's okay if my dorm is not all people exactly my age. You know what I mean? Like, I
mm,
became a bit more okay with it. And in my second year, my roommates were, quite a bit younger with me, but I was okay with that because they were so welcoming
yeah.
to me, and it was great.
Yeah, and it's definitely, there's something about the Redeemer community that you really connect with people. And I think I had a very similar timeline where as soon as you get to like that the end of first semester in exam season, when
Yeah.
like classes are over and you're studying, but then also maybe taking a board game or something to take a break from studying, and definitely you feel the community and there certainly as well. Just a quick question. So I know we're going to talk about the Mature Student Club, and this might be part of it, but
Yeah.
how does being a mature student at Redeemer University affect, your community experience at the school?
Mm, yeah. Well, yeah, I would say I think the way I want to kind of answer that question is like I see Redeemer as offering something really unique to mature students. And what I mean by that is, in my experience of like going to public school, and then also when I was in the process of looking into a school, like when I applied to Redeemer and I applied to the other schools, I was looking into some universities that marketed themselves specifically to mature students.
Hmm.
Some of those were big public schools, some of them were small secular private schools. Um, and what I found in speaking to the students at those schools and doing research was that for some reason, these schools that are marketed to mature students are really like devoid of any sense of community.
Hmm.
So I found that interesting. And I'm not saying it's like that for every school
Yeah.
like that, but for the student who is craving a sense of community, who thinks they would benefit from a small school, I think that's the beauty of Redeemer. And I know that it's kind of a cliche to say, Redeemer has a great community. I think everyone
Yeah.
everyone says that, and it's true. There's a reason why it's a cliche. It's because it's so true.
Exactly.
Um, but I think that in my experience and other people's experiences too, as a mature student, we are blessed at Redeemer because like it is such a small and involved school, and you're not just like you're not just a number, and you're not a mature student who is going to a school that's marketed as like, come get in, get out, um, do this on your own timeline. Uh, there's no like clubs to be a part of or anything like that. It's not like that at Redeemer. It's a really enriching experience, I feel.
Yeah. And like I would say like that's part of the Redeemer experience I appreciated is that I didn't necessarily feel this need to be involved in everything,
Hmm.
but when
Yeah.
I came, I wanted to be involved. I wanted to join a club. I wanted to go to events and things like that. And it's definitely a unique experience because of the smaller population and
Hmm.
also the Christian community aspect of having that worldview to kind of connect with people instantly is very valuable for sure.
Absolutely. Well, and I realize, like, I'm 28, or sorry, I was 20 when I started. I'm 30 now. I'm 30. I don't have children. I realize some of the mature students might have children, for
Yeah.
example, have a busy family. I understand that they might not
Yeah.
want to be involved in every little thing, every club, and that's totally okay. I feel like even if that is your situation, like, there's absolutely a place for you here. And I've met some mature students that are parents or that are married, and even some that live, like an hour away from the school, and they drive out to the school every day, and they love it. Like they find it worth it for the community and the Christian community that they get here.
Yeah, well, and I think that's a good segue into the Mature Student Club. Are you the founder of the club at Redeemer?
So, like, Karen Lyle, she was the faculty that approached me and asked me if I would be interested in being the student
Cool.
that led this. So it wasn't originally my idea. I want to give her credit to that.
Yeah,
Um,
Carrie's.
but I basically what the kind of the story behind it that I know of is that I believe it was at the toward the end of the 2024, like the 23-24 school year. Karen had several students come to her all individually to her office, and they would essentially share that they felt like we need some community at Redeemer that is specifically for mature students.
Hmm.
Um, and they felt like perhaps that was something that was missing. And I had come to Karen, and I didn't express specifically to her that I was looking for a club for mature students, but I told her that I wanted to have some kind of impact on Redeemer. and that I felt like I had something I wanted to share, but I didn't know what that looked like. And I was kind of struggling with that. And as someone who is studying social work and has the background in psychology, my original idea was that I wanted to contribute to Redeemer in some way that related to mental health, or social work or something like that. But then she was like, you know what, Emily, I feel like you would be a really great leader for this club we're thinking of starting, the Mature Student Club.
Yeah,
She's like, I'm a faculty, but we need like a student to be like the main person behind it, to organize it, to come up with ideas. Do you want to do that? And I was like, here, let me think about it for like a day. And then after that, I was like, yes, absolutely. I'm all over this.
that's
So,
awesome. That's
yeah.
fantastic, and
Yeah.
what a great, origin story for a fantastic club. What kind of, things does the Mature Student Club do? Like, what would it look like?
Yeah. So it's just been running for a year. So we're kind of in like that, in a way, we're kind of just getting out of like the early development stage. But so far it's been like a group of people that just meets up every other week. And so far we've been meeting every other Monday during the activity period,
Okay.
which is at 11 a.m., I believe. And we would chat, have coffee and tea sometimes, or maybe some donuts, Timbits from Tim's. And we would sometimes do like a devotional together. Sometimes that devotional is related to being a student or a mature student. We'll pray together. We'll talk about just like topics related to being a mature student. And yeah, mostly it's really just about community and meeting other like minded people, and folks that are, well, our definition of a mature student, I believe this is the official definition, is just someone who's 21 or over who has not been in post secondary for at least 2 years, if that makes sense. So,
Yep.
yeah, just like anyone over that age is, yeah, welcome to be a part of it. So it's a lot of conversation, and we have done some outings before, like going out for dinner. And this coming school year we're planning on doing more outings like that, maybe doing
Cool.
like, if there's no campfire bands, like doing a campfire or something
Yeah.
like that, just hanging out, roasting some marshmallows, or just having coffee together. So
That's fantastic, and I guess how did like do you have some highlights or cool memories from your first year of doing the Mature Student Club?
yeah, well, I would say like the very first meeting, that we had, I believe it would have been either late September or early October last year. I was just really touched by how many people came out. I
Oh,
wasn't expecting that. I think we had like 20 people
wow,
come to
that's
the first
great.
one. Yeah, and that was really fun. And like, so as of now, like we don't currently have that many people that come to each one. It's a smaller group, but like I was really touched by like
Yeah.
that initial interest. I was not expecting that at all. I thought maybe it'd be like two people, but I think I was doubting myself there. So it's really great to see how many people are interested in this and
Yeah.
are interested in the concept of it. And yeah, my hope for this coming school year is that we can get even more mature student folks to come out. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know where you guys meet or anything, or is that up, TBD?
uh, well, last year we were meeting in the, I believe it's called the executive dining hall.
Okay. No.
But that could change this year. I'm not sure, but that was our typical meeting spot. Sometimes it would be another classroom, but we do have a an Instagram and a Facebook, and there's also an email list. So we would keep people updated every other week with where we were going to meet.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic. I'm so excited to see what the Lord does with this club at Redeemer University,
Thank
and
you.
I guess kind of segueing off of the Mature Student Club,
Sure.
I do want to touch on academics as a mature student,
Okay.
and I'll just give you, because I remember for me my first essay at Redeemer as a student,
Yeah.
I remember being like, "Oh, I haven't written an essay in 4 years." Like
Oh yeah.
I've talked to other mature students who, they've been out of school 10 years or 15, and then they come into Redeemer, and you're writing an essay, or you're studying for exams, or getting in on a project or something. What what has been the academic experience for you as a mature student at Redeemer?
Mm. Yeah, well, like I mentioned, went to a much larger school previously. So I've found it to be so helpful and such a blessing to have the really small classroom sizes. I mean, I was used to like the auditorium sized classrooms prior to this. So it's just been a blessing to have the small classrooms and the professors that are easy to approach. And before I started at Redeemer, I believe you had set me up to talk with this lady that also graduated from the social work program here.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and that person was we were talking over WhatsApp. I was in BC, she was in Ontario, but we were kind of giving voice notes back and forth to each other, and she was telling me that having the experience of having classmates that you do like a lot of your classes with is really helpful because when it comes to like group projects, for example, like you're already comfortable with
Hmm.
everyone. And, at my prior school, it was like, you know, I'll put it this way. Like I would see someone maybe once, it felt like I would see someone like once every 2 weeks, right? It's like you happen to pass each other
Yeah.
on the big campus. But here, you for the most part see everyone every day. And for me in the social work program, I've had a lot of my classes with the same people, and so even that is really helpful, and that also contributes to the sense of community. Yeah, the professors are also very approachable, and like it's easy, generally speaking, to get like office hours with them or just to drop in. And I have found that they're all very approachable and helpful. So yeah, that's what it's been like in the classroom for me. So
Yeah, no, well said, and I think that's one of the benefits of going to a smaller university like Redeemer is there's a relational component to your learning that I think even if you tried to avoid it, you couldn't just because
oh yeah,
like I you can't hide really in a class of 20 people or sometimes less or a little bit more, right? Like that's just sort of the reality of a school like Redeemer.
yeah. Well, and also I want to mention, I believe it was before we started recording, we were talking about a little bit about how the population at Redeemer for mature students is actually pretty big, and it's
Yeah,
grown over the years.
definitely.
And so, like I was saying before, initially I was a bit nervous. I thought I would stand out, and I didn't know what it would be like for me socially to be a mature student. But yeah, like you are generally speaking, like not the only mature student in the classroom. So,
Yeah,
like, if that's something that makes you feel better as a prospective mature student, like, there you go. Like, for the most part, you are not alone in the classroom. And, like, even outside of the mature student club, just in the hallways, like you will meet other mature students. So
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. No, that's a great reminder to people. And you know what? That's a good segue. I got a couple more questions here for you, but one of them is, what have been some of your favorite parts about being a mature student at Redeemer? I know for me, I always tell people, um, if I would have went to Redeemer fresh when I was out of high school, based on where I was at the time, I don't think I would have succeeded as much as I did in the classroom or socially. I appreciated that I had a little bit of life experience going into my university degree. Would that be kind of similar to you?
yeah, yeah, I would say so. Yeah, having just like a little bit of life experience and just from my 20s, and also I think the prior education that I had, I think those things all gave me, like, in my opinion, a richer experience coming to Redeemer,
Yeah.
and getting to learn from the Christian perspective of learning. Yeah, it's something I had been craving all along and had really wanted. But yeah, I would say just some of my favorite things have, as a mature student at Redeemer, have been just like feeling seen and heard and not feeling like a number in a sea of
Yeah.
people. That's a priceless thing, I think.
That is a really big thing. And because I went to again, before coming to Redeemer, I went to a larger school as well. And I always remember I always had to write my student number
Yeah.
like on a test, or like whenever you go for help at an office, you always had to write your student number. At
Yeah.
Redeemer, you write your name, right? Like it's just a little thing like that, right? You don't necessarily have, like, we all have student numbers, but you don't have to write it on every single
Yeah.
document.
Oh yeah. No, it's like it's the little things like that that make you feel um like a person and that you're valued, honestly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I got one more question here, Emily. And again, Emily, this has been so good. And if you are a mature student out there, and you have any questions, feel free to contact us at admissions@redeemer.ca. We would love to chat with you. But what advice would you have for prospective mature students to Redeemer University? Maybe someone who's watching this right now and they're thinking about Redeemer, considering it. What advice would you have for them?
Yeah. Um I would say, yeah, be willing to take a chance, and if it's right for you, come to Redeemer. Um, don't worry about how old you are or if you have prior education or you don't or whatever. Just do what you feel led to do by
Mhm.
God, and like I alluded to, you will meet so many people that are like you. The mature students, they range in age from 21 up to 50 plus, right? And we've had people of all ages in our mature student club. So yeah, you will be so welcome at Redeemer as a mature student.
Emily, this has been great chatting with you about this topic. It's been a lot of fun. And if you're a mature student out there, please reach out. We would love to talk with you about that experience. We hope this podcast has kind of given you a little window into the experience. And yeah, Emily, blessings on you as you lead the Mature Student Club and continue your
Thank you.
degree at Redeemer. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. It really has been.
Yeah. Anyway, if you are watching this, feel free, check out our information in the description below. And as always, God bless, and we will see you in the next episode of the Redeemer University podcast.